Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to the Geekwave. This is the low budget show because our budget is low because there's no budget till it's a low budget. That's how low budget works. You don't have a budget. That's how the show goes. You might hear my cats walking through and out the video because they are very lonely and bored. That's just how they are doing life right now. Couple of housewarming things before we get into the news and before we jump into our main topic. Let's talk about this really quick. You can see I got a copy of Neil Adams' Dead Man trade paperback here. That's going to be coming up soon on Comic Book Catch Up. I talk about this book. It's pretty interesting. Weird book. Still got a bunch of comics to go through. You got some Fantastic Four right here. I got Superman, Silver Surfer behind that. I think I showed that off in a previous video. And right here I got Mighty Marvel Team-Ups Thrillers or some shit. Hobgoblin. I don't know if you guys heard my cat complaining back there. A bunch of other shit over here. So, here's what we're doing. We're going to get into the news. We got a bunch of news today. There's a lot that I hate to talk about, but we're going to talk about it really quickly. And then we're going to jump to our main topic where I pitch to you guys some of my dream DC projects that I'd love to do, love to work on, whether it be a movie or a comic book. I don't have any TV pitches this week, which is kind of surprising. But it's going to be pretty fun to talk about. So let's jump in right away to our first couple of topics here. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm interested by and a lot I don't like. Let's start with this. Ruby Rose quit being Batwoman because she didn't like the hours, she didn't like the people she was working with, it's too long a day. Look, you're doing 20 episodes, 20 to 23 episodes every year for a show. You're working like 8 hours a day. I see why you wouldn't want to do that. It's a long shoot. It's a lot of work. And if you're not interested in it, I get it. So quitting, it seems like it's a mutual decision not to have her return as the character. So I'm all okay with that. I think it's fine. She seems... okay, she seems a little better than the CW, just as an actress. I mean, she's actually starred in movies. That might be mean. There's some good talents out there on the CW, but I think she's better than this. I know it's weird to say, but she could do better, and I hope she does. I think she's going to land on her feet. She'll be fine. That show's going to have a complete and utter disaster finding a new actress that's going to take that place, and it's going to be completely palpable as the character that she was. We'll have to see what happens. I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. And that could be a really fun experiment for television, just to see, can you completely replace your lead actress in a superhero project like this? So that could be really fun. So, goodbye, Ruby Rose. Good luck being anybody else that you are fan cast as. You will probably never work on a superhero property again. We salute you, us comic fans. Next piece of news I want to talk about. Muppets Now coming to Disney Plus July 31st. Yes, a Muppet show is finally coming to Disney Plus. This is everything I wanted them to do and everything I've been dreaming of. You can expect reviews of each episode on this channel when this show drops. I'm getting kind of like the single camera comedy vibes mixed with that original Muppet show they did in 2015 that was on ABC. Kind of in the same vein as The Office. I'm expecting something like that. I hope it turns out better than both of those properties kind of did. This could be really fun. I'm expecting something that's going to be a little more guest heavy with your classic Disney people. I could definitely see Yvette Nicole Brown showing up. I could see who's that guy that did Free Solo. I'm like regular guests of DC. Let's get the guy that won the Academy Award for his documentary about rock climbing. I could definitely see that guy showing. There's just, those people that do like those Disney Plus shows. I'm trying to think. Maybe Taika Waititi could show up. Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't know. Just those kind of voices I could see showing up on something like this. But I'm really excited. New Muppet content is hard to come by, so I'm always excited when there's more stuff. I cannot wait to see what this is going to be. It could be really fun, and I hope it is, because, man, the Muppets are so cool. And let's give me more Rolf the Dog, please. Rolf the Dog is the best. So let's talk about this really quick. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because everybody's pretty much covered it. I don't have anything new to add. The Snyder Cut is happening 2021, HBO Max. I'll just give you my thoughts right now. There's an outcry for it in the same vein as something like Sony wanting Spider-Man back and people wanting Disney to keep it. the same vein of people wanting James Gunn to return to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think there are people out there that really wanted this to get made, and there are some people out there that really wanted it to get made, but they went about it the wrong way, in an arrogant, bashful way that came across as needy and desperate. I don't think this has anything to do with toxic fans and like doing anything like that. This is a very viable option. You're going to get more people to buy your streaming service because of it, and I think it's going to be a really good move for them. $30 million to reshoot, or not to reshoot, but just to edit and crop and just do all that shit for the movie makes sense. Snyder is finally going to get his due for what this was, and I really think this is a smart move. It's not like, there's definitely a market here, because I think there was enough of an outcry where it's like, yeah, we could make money off of this, especially if they stretched it into like a couple episodes and release them every week. You get more service there. You're on there for a couple months then. I think that works. This is a good idea. I'm okay with it. I want to see this movie more so than I want to see a couple movies. Not the Batman, though. I think the Batman's way better. And let's be real, Ben Affleck is not coming back to this role. No matter how much they pay him, he's never doing this again. So take what you can get with Ben Affleck in that role. You think he's the best Batman? Take this and enjoy it. And you can, I know it's bad to say, but you can thank those toxic fans for being so vocal and annoying for getting this made if this is what you kind of wanted. So just appreciate it. It's just there. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to be a part of it. So just shut up and let Warner Brothers do whatever they want. It's the Snyder Cut, baby. It's the Snyder Cut, baby. Do whatever the fudge you want. Speaking of bad ideas, we're getting into a bunch of them right now. Well, two, actually. First one, a Jackpot movie at Sony. No, what's Sony's shitty name for their universe? The Sony Cinematic Universe of Marvel characters. Is that what it's called? Or the Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters. It's terrible. Jackpot, who the fuck cares about Jackpot? This is a stupid idea. It's not going to work. I don't think anybody would be asking for this. It's why? It's ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. Why this is where you'd want to go with this property. I don't know. You do what you want. You're in charge of whatever the hell you want to do, Sony, but who knows who Jackpot is and who is actually interested in seeing what this could be. I don't think anybody cares either way. Make your movie, make Morbius. Just do your shit. I don't care. Nobody cares. Some other news I really hate is John Krasinski sold Some Good News to CBS, or is it Viacom CBS, something like that. This came out of such a bad place, I think. I know a lot of people like the John Krasinski Some Good News stuff. Here's why I didn't like it. This could be a rant on its own, but I'm not really going to go into it. I did not like the whole, let's get every celebrity to do a podcast or do a show online to stay relevant. We fucking get it. You're celebrities. We know who you are. We're not going to forget you. Not every one of you has to go buy, a microphone just to talk. You probably boosted up Yeti sales so much that they don't know what to do with all that money for a bad quality mic. I'm just amazed. And so Some Good News was okay. I think people hyped it up just because it was Krasinski, because he talked about The Office a lot. But the idea of having a newscast just for positive things, I hate, because that kind of goes against what the news is supposed to represent. I understand wanting to have an uplifting nature, but I prefer my news to be hard-boiled facts. Everything is just true to what's supposed to be told in the story. I don't need to be uplifted when I'm watching the news. That is not the point of the news. So here's a celebrity who made a lot of money off of doing some YouTube videos, selling his thing for God knows how much money to somebody who's going to do something else with it that's probably not going to be his vision. Everything about this reads terrible to me, and I am not excited for it in any way. I don't know. This isn't exciting. I don't like this idea. I don't think people truly understand just how annoying this is. If Josh Gad sells his Reconnected apart, then I am truly done with a lot of these internet bullshit. Because that is just stupid and annoying. I don't like it, and I don't want it. So, some good news. Segue. Scott Derrickson is going to direct a Labyrinth movie, written by Maggie Levin. This is really awesome. Thank you. I've wanted a Labyrinth sequel for so long. I don't even care if, you don't get Jennifer Connelly back. This is a great idea. What a step up from Doctor Strange 2, and I mean that wholeheartedly. This is a way better project for him. He can go to a lot of more crazy places. It's going to be way more fun. for the love of everything holy in this universe, get Lady Gaga as Jareth the Goblin King. Don't even try to recast it. She can just straight up play the David Bowie one, and you don't even have to say anything else. That's what you need to do. I love this idea. I'm so excited. His vision would work perfect for this kind of trippy cinematic universe. The feel of this movie works for Scott Derrickson as a creator. I cannot wait to see what this is going to be and how this is going to turn out. This is really fun. I am so excited for this. I cannot wait to see what this is going to be. So Scott Derrickson's Labyrinth, hell yes. Do more of this. This is what I want to see. I love you, man. You are doing some great stuff. So that is the news. There's a quick rundown of it all. We are going to jump into our main topic, talking about DC projects I'm pitching to you that you'd want to see me work on or some other people work on, but just mainly me. So let's take this little break. I'm going to throw in a little clip here. We'll see what happens, and then we'll come back with our main topic. Here is our main topic for today. I did this in my first ever Geekwave. It was a live broadcast. I'll tell you guys this right now. I do not like doing live broadcasts for a couple of reasons. First off, there's too many chances to go for an error or something like that to happen. I'm not a professional live broadcaster, so I don't like doing it. Secondly, my camera quality for my webcam isn't great, so I don't want to do it there either. And then third off, I like being able to, edit out a joke, edit in a joke, do that kind of stuff that more has a better feeling. I just like that a little bit more. I understand people who like live broadcasting, but whatever. We'll go back to that later. I'm not going to do a Twitch stream ever in my life. Well, maybe I might do a Twitch stream talking about SpongeBob. We'll see what happens there, but that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about my dream DC projects to work on. And by this, I mean, here are some things, if I was working at DC, if I was in their film department, here's what I would push forward to do that I'd love to write, because I'm a writer. I would love to write that kind of stuff, right? Or if I'm in the comic books. And I'm kind of leaning towards more comic books in this episode. I kind of got a couple ideas for that more than I do for the movies, because I don't know if I should say this, okay? Because if I'm ever working for either of the two major comic publishers, I don't want to have this come back and say which one I'd rather work at, because I'd honestly love to work at both. I think there's some fun you could have at both. You could do some interesting creative stuff within both companies of DC and Marvel, but I do think I have more ideas for characters at a DC, because I know it's weird to say, but I think anybody could really tell a solid Spider-Man story. Not saying a great one, but anyone could really tell a solid Spider-Man story. And I'm going to come back to that idea when we talk about another character on this list. But DC's a little bit more where I think as a writer, I would just feel a little more comfortable at. I still want to work at Marvel. I got some great ideas for Marvel stuff I'd love to work on there. But DC at this moment, I just know I think there's something great I could have there. And because DC, and I don't mean this as a criticism to either company, DC is a little bit more towards your short mini series that aren't really in canon. I think that's a little bit more what I'd like to steer towards, right? So let's talk about my film adaptations first. I don't have a lot. I have 3 pitches for you, and they're just kind of projects that I want to see happen because I love these characters. I love what they represent. So my first one is one I've wanted to work on for a long time. I've always said this about me and one of my buddies. If we were ever cast or if we were ever portrayed as a superhero on screen, it would probably be Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Because, Booster and Gold is the same guy. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, Blue and Gold, like these guys are the definition of a bromance, and I think we need that portrayed in a movie again. When was the last time, and you guys can tell me what you think the last time was, when was the last time you saw like a true to form like bromantic relationship on screen? I'm thinking like JD and Turk and Scrubs, like I'm thinking that level of bromance is what you need for a Blue Beetle and a Booster Gold story. I think it could really work. So my pitch was, it's the origin. I'll just give you kind of a rundown. You start off in the future with Booster Gold. He doesn't want to be there, so he steals, the suit. He goes back in time. And as that's happening, you got Ted Kord in the present kind of realizing that somebody came back in time. And now these two are kind of opposing because let's just say they steal a time machine. I don't know what that would mean, how that gets there right now. This is just the basic pitch. Let's say they steal a time machine and it starts becoming like this weird time travel piece where these two characters are running across time, kind of hating each other, but kind of helping each other survive out of like fear and just kind of that resentment. And then they just slowly start to realize, yeah, they like hanging out with each other. They have fun. They don't really have friends of their own. And when they're with these other people, they're having a lot of fun together. So I think that could be really fun. It's a great like time travel epic. You don't have to take it seriously because if these characters, the time travel doesn't have to be serious. You could go through different periods of time. You could pop in different characters like a Jonah Hex, like a Vandal Savage. Any of those characters throughout time, you could just pop them in there. And they don't even have to be those ones, You could do like historical figures. Maybe they go to the dawn of time and they fight dinosaurs. Maybe they see Leonardo da Vinci and they like smash into his painting of Mona Lisa, and all this crazy kind of stuff that could have big ramifications and then just mess up time so bad when they go back to the present, everything is destroyed, so they have to go back and fix everything they did. I think that could be really fun for these characters. I said it before, and I'm gonna say it here again. Booster Gold is so unbelievably underwritten in so many projects. I really think he could be a top tier character. I love Ted Kord. You got to give that to Jaime. I mean, this movie would obviously be to the Ted Kord one, but Jaime is the better Blue Beetle just in terms of the public because he's your Spider-Man, and they haven't done anything with him there. But just this kind of a movie with these characters, I think would work really well, and I'm amazed nobody's really done anything with this. And they've been working. There have been talks for so long. Is Ted Kord going to appear on the CW? Booster Gold referenced in Man of Steel. But when are we going to see it? We haven't seen it except on Smallville, and that was weird. So when is this going to happen? It needs to happen. It'd be perfect because it's just a lighthearted movie like your Shazam or your Birds of Prey that a lot of people could gravitate to, and it's giving these characters their moment in the sun. So I think it's the perfect fit. Let's do it. And another pitch I have for you guys here is kind of one I've had for a while. I'd love to do a Nightwing solo film because I'd like the idea of just having Dick in that era. Titans is weird. I don't really like Titans, but you take Dick. He's fresh on his own. He's in Bloodhaven. He's still happy. You need him to be happy. You don't want Dick to be miserable. You want him to be kind of happy and upbeat and just have that kind of like Boy Scouty cliche energy around him where everything's so positive and everything's likable. And then, you just throw in your random villain there. You could do KG Beast or maybe, what's his name? I don't know. I can't I'm not a big in-depth guy when it came to the Nightwing stuff in the comic books. But you could get one of those classic villains in there. I was thinking the Court of Owls because I don't know if they'll do that for Batman. I think you could easily put a Court of Owls into that kind of a movie. And then I was even saying, too, we could go as far as to say if this got a sequel, we could do Nightwing and Batgirl. I know I've done a whole video talking about my comic book pitch for Dick and Babs. So I'm going to say this to you guys, too. They are the most important comic book couple to me. Besides Clark and Lois, these two should be together. They represent the new age of heroes that should be coming after the old generation goes. But now they've kind of become the older generation, which I like too. You should age them up in the comics and have them have a kid. I think that's a great idea. Neither here nor there, though. But in this movie, they can start off young. That maybe they've dated in the past, and then when Dick moved away, Barbara was pissed that, she was left behind kind of thing, and then maybe he needs to get saved by her, and that's how she comes in, and that's how their dynamic picks up. This is off base a little bit, but I always liked the idea. It's so dumb, but I always liked the idea of a live action scene where Dick Grayson and Babs are in a country themed bar and they're trying to do some intel, and then Dick walks out of the bathroom dressed up like a full cowboy. He's got his hands on his belt, he's tipping his hat down, and then he starts just doing a square dance or something, or ho down in the middle of the club, and everyone's just cheering him on, and he's just this crazy country cowboy guy, but he's kind of got his Nightwing domino mask on. I think it'd be hilarious. It makes no sense why this is one of those things I want to see because it's just so far from anything, but it could be a really cool thing just to see for, Dick and Babs in that scenario. So I really do think at some point we will see a Nightwing show, probably after Titans is over and we recast them with somebody else. But if the Pattinson Batman does well, we'll probably take longer to see a Nightwing, but I like this idea. Dick is a great character if you want to do a happy kind of Batman story. And I think that'd be a great energy to put in there. So I'd love to see that happen. And Batgirl, she deserves her own movie anyways. Look at her in Harley Quinn. She's hilarious. You could put her in anything and she's great. So I really think a Dick and Babs movie, like I said, of the comic book, it's where you should go. It's what you deserve to do. So let's get it on. Let's do that. And I got one more last movie pitch for you. This one is it's an idea I had for a long time. So I think last year actually, I was talking with my cousin who's a big fan of this stuff too. And we came up with the idea, how would you relaunch the DC universe if you were given the opportunity? I'll lay down my pitch kind of right now. I don't have everything figured out. It started off with a JSA period piece. Then it moved to a Batman Mr. Freeze story. Then it moved to, what was it? I think it moved to a Superman story. Then it went to this story. And this story is a Zatanna origin story. So if you want to just start with Zatanna, here's where you go. She's a magician, and she knows her father does some shady stuff, but he is this actual powerful wizard. He gets killed by this unknown force, and she kind of just goes on this quest to just figure out what killed him and what it was that killed him. This is how you introduce her into the wider range of characters in the magical side of the DC universe. What's the point of view character for the magic universe? And I've said this before. I keep saying that in this episode. I've said this before. It's because I always talk about these kind of ideas outside of this. You need Zatanna to be your point of origin character, and point of origin, why do I keep saying that? Point of view character when it comes to the magic stuff, because she is the most likable one, and it's not weird. She is just a sexy magician in fishnet leggings and a top hat, and everybody loves her. Nobody hates Zatanna. If you do, don't even watch this video anymore. If you hate Zatanna, you just hate DC itself then, don't you? Because she's so lovable and interesting and fun. She is your point of view character for the magic stuff. She is that character, and that's what she deserves to be, because she's just so fun that way. And that's how you use her to introduce all the other crazy characters in that universe, right? The Spectre, Phantom Stranger, Frankenstein, Deadman, Constantine, Detective Chimp, whoever else you want to. Did I say Etrigan? I'm saying Etrigan again if I didn't. That's how you introduce all of those characters. For Zatanna, maybe John knows how her father died. Maybe they have to go to the House of Fate. All those kind of stuff. That's what you do with that character. That's where she should be. I think there's a good story in here. You could bring in the villains, have one of them be the one that killed her father, whatever you want to do there. You could do something cool. Clarion, you should introduce Clarion. Clarion's a very, very cool character that's been untouched for so long, and he shines when he was in Young Justice. I think he was in the most recent tie-in Justice League Dark. This guy's... Look, Clarion claps, okay? He is just fucking sick. I love him. He deserves to be in a movie like this because he's a great villain. He's so cool. So I really think Zatanna is where you should go with that. She is just fun. She is a great character. And the magic side of the DC universe is so untouched in actual like film and all that stuff. It's like we don't want to go down that road. But look at what you did with Swamp Thing introducing Blue Devil. It's amazing and it works. People love Constantine on Legends and in his own show. It works. Zatanna should be the one that leads it. All right, so I got a couple of comic book pitches now that we'll jump into because I think this might be a little shorter. And I always say it's going to be a little shorter and then it's long because I thought the Seth MacFarlane episode would be my shortest episode. It was my longest episode. So let's get into some of the comic book ideas I have. First off, I have this idea. It's kind of like the Booster Gold thing in terms of if DC gave a rat's ass about this character, he could be a top tier character, and I'm amazed he's not. He's like A to B list, and I know it's weird to say, but I have a pitch for a Green Arrow story, and I think Green Arrow is the most toply rated, underutilized character in DC Comics. He gets the shaft end of the stick every time. Like, he just gets kicked in the dick so much, it sucks, because he never really, in this modern DC era we're in now, he doesn't even have an ongoing. That's a shame. And I think there's something you could do there that's really good. A lot of like creators want to take Green Arrow in a direction that's kind of like ninja, dark, shadowy, still the lighthearted Robin Hood thing. Here's what I'm going to say. This is a weird analogy, so maybe not everyone will agree with me, but if you are doing a Green Arrow movie, here's how Green Arrow should feel. Green Arrow should feel like a early 2000s pop rock song. Something by Sublime, something by Sugar Ray, something by Weezer, something by EMT. He should have that feeling about him. The feeling you get when you listen to those songs. When you're putting on Steal My Sunshine, you should instantly be thinking about Green Arrow. That's just how he should feel. So my kind of initial pitch was, let's do like a weird Big Lebowski style thing where somebody breaks into Oliver Queen's house and he tries to kill him and he's like, what did I do? Like, who are you? What are you attacking me for? What's going on here? So then the rest of like that arc is just him trying to figure out who attacked him, where he's going there, who this person is. Does this person know he's Green Arrow? Yes, they do. What's going on? It's just a bunch of like, he's being a very bad detective. He's trying to emulate Batman, but he's doing a very bad job. And I think that works really well for that character. I have another kind of idea for him that's like, he gets this kind of like a huge fanboy of him and his name's the Blue Arrow. And he's just like, are you kidding me? I have enough to deal with on my own being called the Green Arrow. Now I have to deal with this Blue Arrow schmutz. Like, what the hell? So he should just be, I've said this too. Oh my God, I keep saying that. He should be your Iron Fist type character. Your rich millionaire guy who is the surfer dude, the surfer bro, he works at a soup kitchen. He just peace and love and everything's just so calm and that he's got like some quiet meditating times, but he's just really bad at being the detective part of a superhero, and that's where the comedy comes from. And I really want to do something with Green Arrow because I think I could give a lot of my like initial pitches of a Batman story to Green Arrow and just kind of make it funnier, and I think that would work really well too. But there's a lot of areas I think you can take Green Arrow that I'd love to do. And if I'm going to do any character at DC for like an ongoing, for an extended period of time at this moment in my career as a writer, which is nothing, I'd want it to be Green Arrow. I could do something really cool there and have a lot of fun with that character. And you do something with Green Arrow, it's going to be really different. So I'd love to go there. Now, I do have a couple of pitches for Batman, but before we get to Batman, I do want to talk about this. I have a pitch for a Black Label book at DC, and my pitch is a Two-Face story. It's like a 2-issue story. It's something I wanted to do for a long time. Two-Face is my favorite Batman villain. I think there's a lot of complexity and interest in him that is very untouched. So what I really wanted to do, and I pitched this before to other people, and they're like, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of similar to what you could do with a Two-Face story that not a lot of people have done. He is straight up the villain, but there is this little girl who comes to Arkham looking for him because her parents were murdered, and she knows, the little girl knows that Two-Face can help her get just justice or revenge in terms of a lawyer. So he has to once again put on the face of Harvey Dent and become an actual attorney to help this little girl get justice for her family, because she's not looking for revenge in the sense of Batman, right? She's looking for revenge in the sense of, I want the justice system to do something good here. I need the best lawyer. You represented my parents before. Help me now get revenge on this guy that did that. And it's just kind of like Two-Face fighting his inner demons, thinking, can he be that guy again? Can he be the attorney, the lawyer who saves the innocent and does the right thing? Can he be that again? And all the while he's trying to just deal with that while he's helping this girl. And then that time too, Batman is just kind of watching like, what is going to happen here? I think it's a great story. If it's going to be like an Elseworlds thing where it doesn't really matter to continuity, you can make him a good guy in the end. Like, he chooses to do the right thing. But I think just the moral complexity of having him decide, can he go back to the man he was because it's the right thing to do, or is he completely lost and forgotten? How two-faced is he really? I love this idea. I hope somebody picks up on this and does something to that extent with this character instead of just making him like a mob informer. I don't like that. I want something complex with Two-Face. He should be the most complex Batman villain. He should. Him and Mr. Freeze. Everyone else, make a gangster, make crazy, but those two should be the most complex and interesting characters that you read about in the Batman Rogues Gallery. I don't care what anybody says. That is what it should be. That is how it should be done. And that leads me into my Batman pitch. Like Green Arrow, I have a lot of Batman pitches that I'm going to talk about in a second here. But before we get to there, I said this about Spider-Man 2. anybody with a half-cocked brain could write a good Batman story. It's hard to make a perfect like god level, fucking hell. I don't even know what that means for a Batman story. But you're best of the best Batman stories. That's hard to get to. But anybody who can probably write a Batman story. You just need Alfred, Gotham, a Batman villain. Tell it. Like, that's all you need. So my pitch for a Batman story, I have two. I'm going to talk about the one that would be my kind of ongoing, and then my one that would be kind of an elseworldy thing. So my one that would be kind of ongoing is, I was like, what do you need from Batman? You need something that is detective-y, horror-y, and scary with a little bit of extra worldly in there. So I was like, what if we emulate a lot of stuff from classic science fiction horror movies? So my first pitch was kind of like the Island of Dr. Moreau story, where Batman goes to this mysterious island and there's a professor there who is experimenting on these people, turning them into these reptilian-like creatures like dinosaurs. First off, Batman loves dinosaurs, so he'd have a idea to help these people and save them and maybe give them the island when it's done. And just seeing like the body horror and the torture that could be done inside that kind of story works for the Batman character. So Batman and Dr. Moreau, I want to clash that up. Not actually having Dr. Moreau, but that kind of style I think would be really cool for that character. My other pitch was an alien style story where instead of the xenomorph being the thing and Batman's trying to hunt him, it's a story told from the perspective of a bunch of criminals, and Batman is like the xenomorph figure, so like they see him on radar, it's like, oh, he's coming in closer, I can feel him, like, what was that moved in the background? It's just kind of like a scary horror thing that builds Batman up to be this mythical monster, or this mythical creature that's so intense and scary, and nobody truly understands what it is that's coming after them. I think that could be a really fun way to take that character too. Most of my Batman pitches aren't straight up, he's going to fight the Joker and he's going to be wearing a huge bat armor as he takes down the Penguin's onslaught of enemies. They're just more like, what if the singular Batman character helped people or fought against people in this different way than what we've seen? So those are like two of those kind of horror science fiction stories that I want to do. The other one I had the idea for was kind of Creature of the Black Lagoon-ish, and I'll tell you that in a second here. So it's more like Batman, Dick, Babs, Damian, like the Bat family is on like a huge boat. They are investigating like a mysterious thing in the waters, and then there's just like a weird creature that they're trying to hunt in there. And it slowly becomes like this creepy, silent era filmmaking where they're trying to hunt this creature they can't see or hear. All they have is like the detection. It's kind of like the Alien pitch too, but it's on a boat in the water. And the creature could just be like a mutated whatever, right? It could just be really fun and interesting. It could even be a character we already know, like a king shark, like an orca, or even something different. And then another just random pitch I had for that guy is just, you do what Tom King did with Kite Man. Make him out to be a joke, but it's really cool. And you just do that with Killer Moth. Just something stupid with Killer Moth. Make Killer Moth cool for once is what I'm saying. Let's do that too. So I had another pitch for like an Elseworldy style Batman story. Like I said, Batman is easier to write, I think, than a lot of characters. Because it's easy. It's just, there's a simplicity to it. So my idea for this Elseworldy story was, the working title for it at this moment is kind of called Batman the Story, or Batman the Eternal Hero, or something, where it's just kind of like Batman gets trapped in this storybook idea of his life, and there's a narrator who's narrating his every action, and he's slowly trying to figure out what it is and where he is and how to get out of it. And I think there's something really interesting about that. And then, it could just kind of play up the idea, kind of like what that story, Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader, where it's like there always will be a Batman no matter where you are, what era you're in. It's an eternal character in that eternal story. And it just kind of be simple, like, you are going to be the hero forever. No matter what you do, you are going to last. And if you die, you will come back. And it's just this narrator type character who's just making Batman go through all these different time periods in a basic genre story. So he's like a detective in the 40s. He's a war hero, all that kind of stuff, right? And this Batman just slowly starting to figure out that his life is never ending. And he is this hero that will last throughout time and space. And it could just be something, it's just a really fun meta story that I think appeals to some fans of these books. I'm not saying it's going to be fourth wall breaking where he's going to like rip through the page and he's going to see me sitting there writing the story. It's going to be more like everything you love about Batman condensed into a story where Batman figures out that he is loved by millions. He is this character who cannot die, pretty much. And what are the ramifications of that? How is he going to feel being a part of that? And how is this narrator, whoever the narrator is going to affect him in that way? I think there's something really cool about that. So it's just called Batman the Story or Batman the Eternal Hero. You guys can figure out what title you like more and let me know. But those are my Batman pitches. And I got one more pitch for you guys, and then we're going to get into our recommendations for this week. But before that, here's my, I should say. I'm pretty tired. Here is my last pitch for you. It's weird because I hold Superman with a little more reverence than I do Batman. Like, I like the character a lot more than I do Batman. Because of that, I am very hesitant to write for Superman because I could whip out a decent Batman story in a day, right? I could easily just make a crime, gangster, gritty piece and throw Batman in it. I don't know how I would do a Superman story, and it's sad to say, but I don't know where you take that character or what you do with him that's unique and different. It's so much harder for me. And I say that actually, too, about a lot of my favorite members of the Justice League, because I couldn't give you a pitch for a Wonder Woman, for a Green Lantern, or for an Aquaman, and those are some of my favorite characters aside from Superman. I like Batman less than I like those guys, and I could write a Batman story for days. That's just the kind of writer I am. But I do have a pitch for Superman. It's called Superman the Breaking Point, and basically the pitch is there's just one incident that is unexplainable where Superman is responsible, like straight up responsible for the death of an individual. And then it starts to seek into the public that maybe we can't trust him anymore. How much power is too much power? When is he going to lose control again? And it could be something as simple as Superman just hit a little too hard and something shattered inside the man. And just starts becoming this piece of how does Lois react to this in terms of working for the Daily Planet? Is she going to slander her husband? How is the public going to react to Lex Luthor being right after all these years? How is somebody like Batman going to see Clark in a different way now? So like, I always knew you're going to be like this. And the eternal struggle between Clark losing the public's trust, losing everything he fought for to get where he is. How is that going to affect him and where is that going to take him? That is the only Superman pitch I got. I think it could probably be my swan song for Superman. Like I would love to write a story for Superman, but I don't got a Superman pitch. That's all I got, and I just thought about that for a long time, trying to think of what I'd do, and that's what I came up with. And I think it's pretty cool. What happens if Superman accidentally loses, not even just lose control, but just hits a little too hard and somebody dies because of it? How does the world react to that, and how does he react to it himself? Where does he push himself because of that? So those are my pitches for DC properties, for a movie, for a comic book. I want to hear what you guys think of them. Do you want to see, the shut the door, baby, don't say a word Green Arrow story? Or, do you want to see the, hey, we're on an island of mutated dinosaur people Batman story? Or do you want to see the hero who will become Two-Face? Or do you want to see the narrative struggle of meta nature that would be my Batman Eternal Hero and Superman the Breaking Point? What would you like to see from those? Or would you like to see my interpretation of a Zatanna movie, or a Nightwing movie, or a Batgirl movie, or a Booster and Beetle movie? I would love to hear what you guys think of those. But before we wrap up here, let's get into our recommendations for this week. So my recommendations for you today are in terms of comic books. Go read All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison. It is your swan song to Superman. It's my definitive ending for the character and where you take him there. That's where he should end, and that's where it should go. And of course, for your television recommendations, I recommend everybody go check out DC Universe's Stargirl. Episode 2 of my review and of the show will be out now, so go check that out now. That could be really fun. And your movie recommendation for this week is Justice League. Yeah, go check out Justice League by Joss Whedon.